In the teachings of Michael, there are three main levels of I: personality, essence or soul, and spark. Personality is our most external level. It's who we are just for this life. It is made up of physical, mental and emotional characteristics and is influenced by factors such as shell, body type, heredity, imprints, numerological and astrological influences, etc. Our personality is formed from what we experience in this life. Our essence, or spiritual component, is what animates our personality. This is the part of us that passes from one life to another, both on the physical plane and on the 6 higher planes of the universe. It is determined by role, position in a cadence, an unchanging group of 7 entities, fragments, a collective being, frequency, the ratio of male and female energies, and many other factors. Our essence develops on the basis of what we learn in all our earthly lives and periods between lives, in the astral break. When a person comprehends the lessons of the current life, they become part of the experience of our entities. A spark is what animates our essence. This is our core, the part of us that is the unit of consciousness of Tao, which is also called all that is, and the basis of all that is. Tao is what is behind the universe, the source from which the universe comes. So far, the teachings of Michael do not describe the characteristic features of the spark, analogous to the shells of the personality and the roles of the essence. Our spark develops from everything we experience in all our experiences in the universe. The spark that is our core can only be reached through our essence, which connects personality and spark. For this reason, Michael often uses the word essence to mean together essence and spark. However, strictly speaking, these are different concepts. As the entity integrates the experience of earthly incarnations as well as the experience of the higher planes, that experience becomes part of our spark knowledge. The spark creates an entity to express itself in the universe. The essence, in turn, creates a personality in order to express itself precisely on the physical plane. When a spark creates an essence, in the teachings of Michael, this is called an outpouring from the Tao. The Tao is made up of an infinite number of sparks, or units of consciousness, that are both fully unified and individual, like the cells of the body. Some of these sparks are only potential, while others have gone through various degrees and types of realization in the universe and in the Tao itself. The Tao is the ultimate creator and has created the universe as its workshop, a place where it can manifest and know itself. Tao fills the universe with love, which is the life-giving force, the main impulse in all creation. Our spark, being a part of the Tao, has, like the Tao, the ability to create. When we, like sparks, created our essence, we poured out, or extended themselves from the Tao into the universe in order to expand the Tao. We explore, experience and create in order to realize more and more of the potential of the Tao and to extract for the Tao the treasures of new knowledge about ourselves. Because the nature of the Tao is love, ultimately we are all in the business of spreading love. There are 7 main destinations on this journey from Tao to the universe and back to Tao again. These are the 7 planes of the universe. Our first destination is the physical plane, where we are now. When we have completed the passage of the physical plane, we will move on to the next cycle of experience, on the astral plane. When that too is passed, we will move on to the causal plane, and so on, until we ascend through all the higher planes and become fully focused again in the Tao. After the spark has passed through the outpouring from the Tao, it becomes a fragment. In the middle of our time on the physical plane, young soul cycle, we are most fragmented or individualized. After that begins our journey back to full focus in the Tao, to the experience of total openness. Humanity as a whole is on the verge of this turn. The average age of souls on Earth is the 6th level of the young soul. It will become a mature first-level planet in perhaps 50 years. This journey back to the Tao involves an ever wider reunion of the fragments. On the higher astral and lower causal planes, the collective being is reunited. Each collective being is a spiritual family of about 1,000 souls. On the higher causal plane, frames are reunited. Each frame is a group of 7 collective beings. By that point, we feel united enough that we are no longer considered fragments. As one progresses through the 3 higher planes, larger and larger groups of cadres are reunited, until everything merges back into the Tao. This journey from the Tao to the physical plane and back is called the Great Cycle. It's like going on a cosmic journey and returning home with a greatly expanded awareness. During a trip around the world, a person may feel that his heart remains at home, no matter how wonderful and exciting the trip is. We can say that in our journey through the universe, our heart is at home, in Tao. When pouring out of the Tao, we do not actually leave it, our spark is forever a part of it. Our essence is a kind of vehicle for the journey of the spark. A spark cannot live in the universe without a relatively dense form to anchor it. Imagine a natural spark thrown out by a fire. It is ephemeral, goes out in a moment. Essence serves as a spark form in the universe. According to the teachings of Michael, a spark can create 7 basic types of entities. These kinds are called roles. Roles in the teachings of Michael are commonly referred to as minister, priest, artisan, sage, warrior, king, scientist. An analogy can be drawn. We want to travel by car. The role is the type of car that we choose: Jeep, station wagon, minivan, convertible, etc. The body color and engine type will correspond to other characteristics of the entity, the ratio of male and female energies and frequency, and global configurations, which include essence, such as a collective being and a frame, can be correlated with the company and the country that produces the car. When we are ready to incarnate on the physical plane, we need to make a few more decisions that will further shape our experience. For life, we need a specific person and a certain set of circumstances so that we can fulfill our life plan. In other words, we need to choose a shell, a body type, and make agreements with other entities. According to the teachings of Michael, we even choose our parents and a particular physical body and can to a certain extent influence the time of our birth. Let's continue the analogy with traveling by car. It can be extreme, informative, or entertaining. We can go in one company or another to Karelia or the Crimea. These are the personality characteristics and life circumstances that we choose. Michael likes to say that everything is a choice. It is obvious that the decisions made by other people affect our lives, but we are the main creators of our experience. Sometimes people complain, "My birth was not the result of my choice." While this is true on the level of personality, which is the creation of our essence, on the inner level we have chosen to be born. We are both creator and creation. What is a role? Critics of the Michael system often say, "I don't want to be labeled." But the purpose of this system is not at all to classify people or to drive them into some kind of framework. Michael allows us to understand which of all possible psychological structures we are most willing to use. We are not limited to one shell or another. The combination of role, purpose, mode, mood, main feature, centering, and type of physical body accurately describes any particular person and the way he interacts with others. Moreover, it can be mathematically determined that combinations of shells, roles, and influences of essence twins more than people on the planet. So, if you feel like you've been pushed into some kind of box, don't forget that these boxes are deeply individual, and perhaps even unique. The role of any entity is the fundamental mode of existence and consciousness that it chooses for its learning in the reincarnation cycle. In the game in which we all participate, there are 7 main roles. The choice of role determines the nature of experience and perception. The role, however, is not a limiting factor, since the fullness of life can be experienced in any role. If we also take into account the shells, body type, centering, choice of imprint and culture, then each entity experiences a truly huge variety of sensations in all its lives. The role determines the basis of character and qualities that the entity will use in each life throughout the cycle. The interaction of the 7 roles provides a hollow volume of experience in the universe. Role selection. From the moment the entity leaves the Tao to appear on the physical plane and pass through the other 6 planes until the moment it returns to the Tao, the role of the essence is not changing. After completing the cycle and returning to the Tao, the entity remains in this role and merges with the total consciousness of the universe until it begins to feel the need for further growth and participation in the new cycle. Then the entity usually chooses a different role, enters into another collective being and incarnates on another planet. 7 roles. There are 7 roles in total. Although there are not and cannot be good and bad roles, they are not qualitatively the same. In all septenary schemes of the Michael system, 4 axes are distinguished. Axis of inspiration, expression axis, action axis. At their intersection, in the center, is axis of assimilation. Because each axis has 2 ends, 2 positions, in Michael's terminology, there are 2 roles of inspiration, 2 roles of expression, 2 roles of action, and 1 role of assimilation. Of these, 3 roles are exalted, 3 are ordinary, and 1 is neutral. The ordinary side of the axis is more about specific, precise, and immediate issues. The exalted side, or stance, is concerned with the broad, general, abstract picture. The axis of assimilation does not have exalted and ordinary positions, it is neutral. Priest and servitor are inspiration roles as they are more spiritual and compassionate. Representatives of these roles think about the well-being of humanity and the planet. They are focused on growth, service, and commitment to the ideals of the higher good. They have the least carnal approach to life. Priests are on the exalted side of the inspiration axis, and servants are on the ordinary side. Sage and craftsman are the roles of expression, exalted and ordinary, respectively. They are more inclined to express themselves than to act. Craftsmen express themselves in their creations and moods, wise men, in their speech, humor, and ability to be on stage. These roles create the emotional coloring of their environment, take care of the general mood. They are prone to interaction, communication, and the manifestation of creative abilities. King and warrior are action roles, exalted and ordinary, respectively. They can be recognized by their natural inclination and ability to act. This can manifest itself in the form of organizational skills, in the desire to control the course of one's life, in the ability to build ideas and implement them. They have the most carnal approach to life. They enjoy the experience provided by the physical plane. Scientists are in a assimilative, neutral role. They retain and rethink their experience to a greater extent than representatives of other roles. They experience a constant, unquenchable thirst for new information and experience. Scientists can remain neutral because they see all sides of any situation. They also have the ability to act from an exalted or ordinary position. Ordinary roles. Servants, craftsmen, and warriors prefer, in most lifetimes, to have a small circle of intimate acquaintances and not to form ties with the masses. In a crowd, they are always more calm and aloof. Often they feel uncomfortable in large crowds of people. They build their lives on inner experience and relationships with loved ones and have more experience in this area than representatives of exalted roles. Exalted roles. Priests, sages, and kings are more likely to communicate with large masses of people and influence more people than ordinary roles. They tend to choose professions that have a high goal: teaching, healing, preaching, leading people. Representatives of exalted roles do not feel very good if they have to obey someone in their work or perform work typical of an ordinary role. Servants inspire and care for those around them by serving them, hence the name. The presence of a servant is always a very favorable factor, because such people willingly take care of the needs of others and inspire with their presence. At the level of essence, servants know that the fastest way to achieve spiritual progress is through service to people. Servants make up the largest percentage of the world's population, approximately 30%, although this figure varies from region to region. Servants are closest to kings in that they exercise control. For example, a servant with the goal of dominance and a regime of power can easily be mistaken for a king. The difference is that servers exercise control in implicit ways. They are very busy settling all the issues and problems of their lives and do not want to trust their solution to someone else who can do it the wrong way. If they feel that they are losing control, they become very nervous and uncomfortable in the situation, believing that they have become hostages of circumstances. Often, servers are so busy caring for others that they forget about themselves. Compared to the priests, who feel responsible only for our spiritual growth, they also take care of our physical needs. Belonging to the ordinary type, they prefer individual rather than group contact. They inspire their loved ones to love and affection. Ministers usually work in areas where they can directly care for people. These are medicine, childcare, catering, general service, politics, social security. Positive pole. Helpfulness, upbringing, caring, warmth, pleasantness, spirituality, orientation towards others, competence, practicality, reliability, friendliness, devotion. Negative pole. Irritability, enslavement, sacrifice, martyrdom, manipulation, domination, deceit, cunning, importunity, self-denial, servility. The care of the priests is to help the spiritual well-being of people. Priests remind people that they must take care of the development of their essence. They are ready at any moment to tell others what they need to do for their development, and inspire them to do so. Priest is a high-frequency role, and priests move quickly through lives and their lessons. They enjoy using the emotional and higher emotional centers because they enjoy the feeling of connection with others that comes from being in these centers. Priests are so eager to move forward to the next lesson that they often do not have time to learn the intricacies of the previous one. They often try to convince the slower roles to move forward with them. Their disdain for the practicality of the physical plane often leads them to a dead end, especially with hardline characters like warriors, kings, and scientists. Priests, like servants, feel the unity of all things. They have a very characteristic feeling of compassion. They make excellent healers. They also like to stimulate people and push them forward. And they do this well thanks to their ability to see what exactly hinders the movement. Like the wise men, the priests are great at promoting an idea, although they care more than the wise men that we take their advice to our advantage. At their negative pole, they can become fanatical, overly enthusiastic, and preach various crazy ideas. In general, priests fulfill the role of pushing souls into spiritual development and reminding other roles that the physical plane is not everything. Like other representatives of exalted roles, there are few priests in the world, about 5% of the population. Positive pole. Inspiration for others, compassion, caring, enthusiasm, spiritual guidance, emotional connection with others, healing, warmth. Negative pole. Fanaticism, excessive enthusiasm, feverishness, importunity, thoughtlessness, impracticality, wandering in the clouds, missionary work, irrationality, incomprehensibility. The work of the artisan is creativity, creation. He brings to the physical plane everything that was not there before. This includes not only physical objects, but also ideas, emotions, moods, and concepts. Craftsmen are the most mobile of roles. They vibrate at the highest frequency. They point their sensitive antennas in various directions to feel what new creations can be brought to the planet. For craftsmen, the physical plane can be very difficult due to its rigidity and slow vibrations. On other planes, their creations appear immediately. Artisans create a mood in their surroundings. They have great energy due to their inner ability to create, although they often hide it behind masks of eccentricity or unpretentiousness. As representatives of the ordinary role, they prefer one-on-one relationships to communication with a large group. Because creativity is so important on this planet, artisans make up a fairly large portion of the population, about 20%. Artisans are the most eccentric role, but they can appear similar to other roles if they so desire. As craftsmen move forward through the soul ages, they feel more and more disconnected from the mainstream of humanity. They can encapsulate, that is, lose all interest in the physical plane and cease all vigorous activity. In some lifetimes, artisans become members of the creative professions, although this is not required. But in everything they do, artisans bring an element of creativity. Often they are led by chance. They create around themselves what circumstances suggest to them. In society, artisans feel more comfortable in their female incarnations. Relationships with the craftsman essence twin have a great impact on both entities involved. At their negative pole, craftsmen may fall into self-deception, believing that they have the power to recreate their reality under any circumstances. Positive pole. Creativity, innovation, unusualness, spontaneity, breadth of perception, eccentricity, self-sufficiency, imagination, daydreaming, ingenuity, gaiety, excitement. Negative pole. Artificiality, self-abasement, emotional insensitivity, excessive openness to external influences, vulnerability, capriciousness. Wise men spread information and speak the truth. They tell everyone else what's really going on. Their job is to keep us up to date. But unlike the priests, they don't care if their information will help us grow spiritually. However, they require attention to their words. Sages are the spokesmen of the universe. Each sage pays great attention to the correctness of expression. Wise men love to use speech and can be very eloquent. More than representatives of all other roles, they are prone to humor and fun. They make excellent entertainers and journalists. They teach enlightenment through humor, showing people that life does not have to be mundane and gray. They like to speak in front of an audience. They like to address a large number of people. Although they make up only 8% of the world's population, they are visible and give the impression of being numerous. Wise men have an innate ability to see the truth. They are smart, sensitive, and can be very emotional. They make good salespeople and writers. Sages are good listeners and are always eager to learn something new and then pass this information on to others. Wise men also make excellent chroniclers and critics. They love acting out scenes and drama to entertain their friends and have something to talk about. At their negative pole, sages can be talkative and overly dramatic. Wise men love the printed word and can become collectors of articles, magazines, and in general, any information. Positive pole: expressiveness, truthfulness, curiosity, sense of humor, receptivity, expressiveness, charm, wisdom, friendliness, compassion, courtesy, intelligence, knowledge. Negative pole: demagogy, verbosity, deceit, the desire to be in the spotlight, noisiness, bad taste, excessive drama, arrogance, hypochondria. Warriors are organizers and protectors. They put life on a practical footing. They express themselves through action or force. They are doers. Warriors are strong-willed, concentrated and purposeful. They don't like chaos. They are the glue that holds society together. Like artisans, warriors make up 20% of the population. Warriors make excellent school teachers, as their nature tends to convince others, shape them, and place them within established limits. They are caring, have a pronounced maternal instinct, protect people, and take care of them, in particular, about their loved ones. The best strategists are warriors. They excel in business and industry because of their organizational skills and determination. They use their ability to shape matter and convince people in all areas of activity, including the arts, trade, government, crafts, military affairs, and law enforcement. Warriors are very principled and fight for what they think is fair. They are conservative in their views. They are quite vulgar. They lack the subtlety to be diplomats or to be good at lying. With their desire to do everything themselves, warriors can become workhorses. They are able to work or fight until they die of exhaustion. Warriors make excellent generals and corporate directors, although they prefer to have someone higher up make the final decisions. At their negative pole, warriors can impose their opinions, coerce, and even use violence. Positive pole: persuasiveness, organizational skills, productivity, resourcefulness, directness, purposefulness, and concentration, will, caring for loved ones and offspring, dexterity, integrity, prudence, balance. Negative pole: suppression of others, cockiness, narrow-mindedness, excessive conservatism, emotional retardation, aggressiveness, arrogance, exhaustion. Kings strive for perfection and better management of themselves and those around them. They often achieve leadership positions in their chosen fields of activity. They are natural leaders and good advisors. They win the love and devotion of people, serving them usually in an exalted manner. Kings are often gentle, polite, and benevolent. Kings have an innate ability to see the whole situation and guide people by telling them what needs to be done. They push people to take action. They have an intuitive sense of balancing energy. They can manage situations, finding those aspects in them that need balancing energy. Kings strive for perfection and can be ruthless with themselves, trying to maximize the development of the area in which they apply their efforts. They make good organizers. They effectively guide other people in the performance of collective tasks. They have a natural flair and a command warehouse of character. Kings can dispassionately assess situations. This can look like ruthless compassion, and at the negative pole, even like heartlessness and cruelty. They make good bishops, politicians, corporate directors, and founders of dynasties. Since there are far fewer leaders than followers, kings make up only 1 to 2% of the population. Positive pole. Authority, competence, courtesy, ability to lead, awareness, goodwill, energy, charisma, ability to solve problems, objectivity, self-confidence, endurance, balance. Negative pole. Tyrannism, suppression of others, heartlessness, intolerance, excessive demands, inflexibility, arrogance, excessive extravagance. Scientists strive to learn and assimilate knowledge. They are very inquisitive by nature. At the essential level, they register everything that happens in the universe, without losing sight of anything. Scientists, as representatives of a neutral role, intermediaries, catalysts, through which representatives of other roles can communicate with each other. They also understand other roles better than anyone else. Everything goes smoothly in the presence of the scientists, as they provide the stability that allows members of other roles to carry out their tasks. People turn to scientists for information and to hear a neutral opinion. Scientists accumulate a gigantic amount of information in their essence. Scientists are more likely to appear in an ordinary rather than exalted quality. They prefer peace, do not like to disturb people, and want to be able to calmly collect information. However, in those lifetimes in which they choose to manifest exaltedly, scientists can achieve a great deal. This is due to the huge amount of information they have that they can draw from their essence. Scientists are very hardy physically and able to live in any climate. They bodily absorb their experience and because of this may have physical disabilities and health problems, despite their endurance. Since these manifestations can pass from life to life, it is especially useful for scientists to study the experience of previous lives. Scientists have a number of hobbies and interests related to different centers: intellectual, emotional, and motor. Except for those lives in which they have motor centering, scientists usually have a strong intellectual bias. The number of scientists is about 15% of the world's population. Positive pole. Innate knowledge, curiosity, honesty, versatility, diligence, modesty, method, ability to think. Negative pole. Excessive theorizing, pedantry, tediousness, excessive intellectuality, passivity, unsociableness, fatigue of others, slowness. The balance of masculine, focused, and feminine, creative, energy and frequency, as well as role, are characteristics of the essence that she carries from life to life. If the personality with its sheaths is the instrument that the entity creates to fulfill the karma of the physical plane, then the balance of male and female energies and the frequency of the entity give a certain taste to these experiences on the physical plane. Everything in the universe that has energy has a creative and focused component, which is also called feminine and masculine. Creative, female, energy is scattered and explosive. It has volcanic power. Due to its explosive nature, you never know where it will be directed. While people find that masculine, focused, energy is better because it can be directed directly at them, feminine, creative, energy can be more intense, more dynamic. The feminine energy seems to be lighter than the masculine because it is not concentrated in one point. However, this is a false feeling. None of the energies is lighter or heavier. People who have a lot of feminine energy are usually detail-oriented. They can hold 5 or 6 objects in their attention at the same time. At the negative pole, feminine energy may seem less reliable, as it can spread in several directions at the same time. If misused, it can come across as pointless and chaotic due to the sheer volume of information it can carry. Focused, masculine, energy is usually concentrated and directed to one point. It resembles a speeding locomotive going from point A to point B. Masculine energy helps us to be more productive and focus on a particular activity. It is more directed and punching. We can use it to remember something, for example, when preparing for an exam, or to maintain concentration during a boring and monotonous task. The masculine energy helps us to feel that we are in our own body. On the negative pole, masculine energy can be too straightforward to achieve a goal, not taking into account various subtleties when performing a task. She may appear rude and unintelligent. Most people have a male to female energy ratio of 40 to 60 to 60 to 40. This is the most convenient ratio. A person with such a ratio is balanced and lives approximately the same number of female and male lives. If this balance shifts beyond 60%, the person lives more lives with the sex corresponding to the higher value. People who are out of balance stand out very much, whether they are in a male or female body. It is more convenient to be alone and be in the company of those for whom this balance is of an average value. The company of people with a predominance of feminine energy can be tiring, and in the company of those who are heavily balanced in the direction of male energy, you can be bored. Such people, as they say, put pressure on others. If we have chosen more than 60% concentration of one of the energies, it means that we wanted to set ourselves another task on the physical plane. There is also an overall balance of creative and focused energy on the planet. It is equal to 50:50. Frequency is an indicator that characterizes the vibration of an entity. The frequency as a whole is not connected with the body into which the entity enters. However, the body, being the receptacle of the essence, nevertheless expresses the frequency of the essence, and to a greater extent, the longer we live in this body. Some people live faster than others. They learn the lessons of the physical plane faster in one lifetime. This does not mean that they need fewer lives, but in 40 years on the physical plane they can accumulate the same amount of experience as other, slower entities, in 70. This is the frequency, the relative rate of vibration of the entity. Another parameter that provides variety. The range of vibration frequencies available to entities is divided into 100 conventional units. Approximately 50% of people are in the middle of the frequency scale. About 25% have frequencies below 40 and 25% above 60. When we are in the company of a low-frequency person, we experience a feeling of calmness and gentleness. Those with low frequency sometimes move more slowly and give the impression that they are thinking about all their actions, even if they are not. The energy of a low-frequency person can be compared to the energy of a crouching hunter. High frequency is dizzying, ringing, feverish, scattered, out of body, violent. High-frequency people move and talk quickly and cannot sit still. They seem to have more energy. However, frequency does not define energy, it is only a way of expressing it. Priests and artisans usually have a high frequency. Sages, acolytes, scholars, and kings have various meanings. Warriors usually have a lower frequency. With a person who has an extremely low or extremely high frequency, it is even more difficult to be around than with someone who has a highly shifted energy balance. A person feels most comfortable in his natural frequency range. Sexual relationships often attract people with very different frequencies and balances of focused and creative energy. These energies are difficult to combine, but they balance each other in an explosive way. The company of a person with equal or close to our value of frequency and balance will give us a feeling of comfort. Essence doubles often have opposite rates of frequency and balance. Each collective being also consists of focused and creative energy in a certain percentage and has a certain average frequency. But each fragment represents its own balance and its own frequency that it has chosen to bring into the physical plane.